What if everything you've been told about playing fair, being authentic, and working hard is quietly sabotaging your career? In 2025, the corporate world isn't just about skills and ambition. It's a battlefield of perception, hidden motives, and silent power plays. Every email you send, every meeting you attend, every handshake you make is a chess move, and the stakes are higher than ever. You've heard the cliché advice, just be yourself, work hard, and success will follow. But deep down you know it doesn't add up. Why do some colleagues seem to glide to the top, while others, equally capable, stay stuck in mediocrity or get quietly sidelined? The truth nobody talks about is this: power doesn't reward virtue. It rewards strategy. In this video, you're about to uncover the hidden, counterintuitive strategies Machiavelli, yes, the same Machiavelli they painted as ruthless, would use if he navigated office politics today. These aren't manipulative tricks for the unethical. They are hard-earned survival tactics rooted in timeless wisdom, now sharpened for the corporate jungle of the 21st century. By the time this video ends, you'll see office politics through a radically different lens. You'll understand not just how to survive, but how to thrive, and why ignoring this knowledge is the fastest way to remain powerless. Skip this, and you'll stay blind to the game being played around you. Imagine a man writing in the early 16th century, long before cubicles, corporate ladders, and endless performance reviews existed. Niccolo Machiavelli, a diplomat and political theorist from Florence, lived in an era where power was everything, and survival depended on ruthless clarity, not idealistic morality. His core insight was brutally simple: power is reality, not idealism. Unlike philosophers who dream of utopias or preach lofty virtues, Machiavelli understood power as a practical game, a constant shifting contest where perception, timing, and strategic action dictate success or ruin. So why should you care about a political strategist from Renaissance Italy when you're dealing with modern office politics in 2025? Because fundamentally nothing has changed. The names, technologies, and office layouts have evolved, but the basic human drives remain untouched. The thirst for influence, fear of being outmaneuvered, and the silent war for recognition still pulse beneath every workplace interaction. Your career doesn't just progress by merit, it advances or stalls based on how you navigate the invisible currents of power. Machiavelli's teachings aren't relics of a bygone era. They are shockingly relevant survival tools, rewritten for the digital age. In the next 30 minutes, you'll learn how to wield these timeless strategies with precision, how to manage perception, read hidden motives, master timing, forge strategic alliances, and know exactly when to be ruthlessly decisive. Because ignorance is the most dangerous career risk of all. Your journey out of naivete starts now. The harsh truth about office politics in 2025. Let's start with an uncomfortable fact. Office politics doesn't just exist, it thrives. A recent study by the Harvard Business Review revealed that 70% of employees say office politics negatively impacts their productivity and mental well-being. Another survey from Forbes found that nearly 60% of workers believe their promotion or raise was influenced more by political maneuvering than actual performance. Why is this happening? Because the corporate world today is not a meritocracy. It's a subtle game of influence, hidden agendas, and calculated alliances. Pretending that hard work alone will get you noticed is not just naive, it's career suicide. Every overlooked idea, every ignored email, every excluded meeting compounds into an invisible trap, quietly stalling your growth. Yet, there's a critical distinction few understand: constructive influence versus toxic manipulation. Constructive influence is about understanding dynamics and steering situations toward mutual benefit. It's strategic, ethical, and sustainable. Toxic manipulation is selfish, short-sighted, and destructive, designed to advance at the expense of others. Most people confuse the two. They think any strategy that involves awareness of power is inherently manipulative. But here's the truth. Machiavelli knew centuries ago, and you must grasp today. Power is neither good nor evil. It simply is. It's a tool, a force, an inevitable aspect of human interaction. If you refuse to acknowledge this reality, you'll remain blind to the moves being made around you. Ignoring office politics doesn't make you noble, it makes you powerless. And in 2025's hyper-competitive workplaces, powerlessness doesn't just cost you promotions. It erodes your confidence, drains your mental health, and keeps you perpetually overlooked. What follows now is not about becoming ruthless, it's about becoming aware. Because the moment you understand how power really works, your position changes. You stop being a passive player and start becoming the one who makes the moves. Machiavellian principle number 1. Perception is everything. Imagine standing in a glass elevator, surrounded by colleagues who watch your every move. Every word you speak, every action you take, it leaves an impression, whether you intend it or not. In the world of office politics, perception isn't just part of the game, it is the game. Machiavelli's first principle is simple yet brutally effective. Appear stronger than you are. It doesn't mean lying or pretending to be someone you're not. It means consciously managing how others perceive your competence, confidence, and influence. Here's a practical tip. Dress the part, not to flaunt, but to communicate professionalism and authority. Speak with clarity and decisiveness, even if your mind is still processing. Highlight small wins strategically. Never let your contributions vanish into thin air. Let's look at a real-world example. Sarah worked as a mid-level project manager in a tech firm. Despite her hard work, her ideas were regularly dismissed in meetings, and her performance reviews remained stagnant. Then she began subtly shifting how she presented herself. She started sending succinct, data-backed emails that highlighted her role in successful projects. During meetings, instead of waiting to be asked, she began confidently contributing one well-prepared insight. She even began networking during coffee breaks with higher-ups, offering thoughtful opinions without overt flattery. Within 6 months, the perception of Sarah transformed from quiet worker to rising star. Her work hadn't changed, her skills hadn't miraculously improved overnight. What changed was the story others told about her, and that's exactly what Machiavelli teaches you to master. Because in office politics, your reality isn't what you do, it's what others think you do. Fail to manage your image and you're invisible. Master it and you control how the game unfolds. Machiavellian principle number 2. Understand people's motives. Every interaction in the office is a subtle negotiation of interests. Behind every polite smile, every vague compliment, and every seemingly innocent question lies a motive. Machiavelli knew this truth long before office politics became a buzzword. Everyone acts in self-interest. Your co-workers aren't your allies by default. They are individuals, each pursuing their own advancement, security, and recognition. The first step toward mastering office politics is understanding this undeniable reality. Here's your practical tip. Start reading between the lines. In meetings, ask yourself, why is this person pushing this idea now? What do they gain if I support them? What happens if I don't align with their proposal? Look at written communications too. An email that sounds innocuous may be setting you up to take the blame later, or subtly undermining your authority. Consider this example. James was an ambitious analyst whose project proposal was repeatedly delayed, not because of lack of merit, but because a senior colleague saw him as a threat. Each time James presented his ideas, he noticed a particular co-worker nodding enthusiastically during the meeting, only to later copy the concept in a report and present it as their own. Instead of blindly trusting smiles and polite reassurances, James began observing behavioral patterns: who consistently shifted credit, who avoided direct questions, who became defensive when probed. Armed with this insight, he started documenting his contributions in shared reports, ensuring timestamps and emails created a clear, undeniable record. He also began subtly challenging ambiguous statements in meetings, forcing clarity and accountability. The result? His manipulation attempts crumbled, and his reputation as a reliable, transparent contributor soared. Because when you understand that everyone plays their own game, you stop being a pawn in theirs, fail to see the motives behind the mask, and you'll be blind to the threats. Recognize them, and you'll see opportunities instead. Machiavellian principle number 3. use timing wisely. Imagine standing at a crossroads, where every step forward could be the one that makes or breaks your career. Machiavelli understood the power of timing as an art form. Strike at the right moment. In office politics, knowing when to speak up, when to stay silent, and when to act is more critical than what you say or do. The wrong move at the wrong time isn't just ineffective, it can be fatal to your ambitions. Here's your practical tip. Learn to master the rhythm of the workplace. Ask yourself, is the audience ready to hear my idea? Are decision makers receptive now? Or is it better to wait for a crisis when your input becomes indispensable? Is my timing serving me, or am I reacting out of frustration? Consider the cost of premature action. Meet Carla, a mid-level marketing strategist who had a bold, innovative proposal to revolutionize her company's ad campaign. Eager to impress, she pushed her idea during a routine team meeting before gathering support or understanding the decision-maker's current priorities. Her proposal was dismissed as unrealistic. Worse, she was labeled impulsive and out of touch. What Carla didn't realize was that her moment hadn't arrived. Instead, after some Machiavellian reflection, she recalibrated her strategy. She spent weeks quietly gathering data, identifying internal allies, and waiting for a quarterly review when the company's performance gaps were under intense scrutiny. When the right moment came, Carla presented her well-timed, evidence-backed proposal directly to the leadership team. The difference? They couldn't ignore it. Her idea was implemented. Her reputation shifted from impulsive to visionary. Because timing isn't just about opportunity, it's about preparing until opportunity meets readiness. Act too soon, and you're seen as reckless. Wait too long and you're forgotten. Master timing, and you become the pulse of power. Machiavellian principle number 4. The power of strategic alliances. In the modern office, isolation is career death. Machiavelli knew power wasn't about standing alone, it was about building alliances, carefully chosen and strategically nurtured. Forge alliances, but don't trust blindly. The truth you must confront is simple and unsettling. Allies are temporary, interest-based, and often self-serving. Here's your practical tip. Network strategically, not emotionally. Don't just bond with the friendly coworker next to you in the break room. Instead, build connections with individuals who hold influence, can provide critical insights, or offer paths to opportunities you couldn't access alone. Let's look at an example. David was an entry-level consultant in a large corporation, invisible amidst a sea of ambitious peers. Rather than trying to impress the entire office, he identified 2 mid-level managers who frequently influenced project assignments. David didn't shower them with flattery or overpromise results. He focused on providing value. He volunteered to take on small but high-visibility tasks that aligned with their current projects. He shared insightful industry research without expecting immediate returns. He became a reliable collaborator, never intrusive, never overly familiar. Slowly, these managers began to see David not as a competitor, but as an indispensable ally. Over time, when key projects emerged, David was among the first to be considered. His network had become a web of mutually beneficial relationships, not blind friendships. But beware the trap Machiavelli warned about: blind trust. Just as you seek allies, others seek to use you. Always maintain boundaries, document agreements, and avoid putting all your eggs in one basket. Because in office politics, alliances aren't about loyalty. They're about mutual advancement. Fail to build them, and you'll remain isolated. Form them wisely, and you'll amplify your influence beyond your own power. Machiavellian principle number 5. Know when to be ruthless. There's a pervasive myth that professional success is built solely on kindness, collaboration, and hard work. Machiavelli shattered that illusion centuries ago. Sometimes, tough decisions are necessary for survival. Ruthlessness doesn't mean cruelty or unethical behavior. It means having the clarity and courage to say no when necessary, to cut toxic projects, and to reject exploitation. Here's your practical tip. Learn the difference between assertiveness and manipulation. Ask yourself, am I being asked to go beyond my role at the expense of my well-being? Is this project aligned with my long-term growth, or am I simply filling someone else's gaps? Will this alliance serve me or consume me? Consider this story. Anna was a senior analyst tasked with leading a high-profile project under intense pressure. Her manager frequently demanded late-night updates, shifting deadlines, and tasks far outside her expertise, without additional support or recognition. For months, Anna tried to accommodate, believing that relentless compliance would earn her advancement. But the pressure only increased. Her mental health deteriorated and her work suffered. Then, drawing from Machiavellian strategy, Anna shifted course. She started setting clear boundaries, communicating her availability in advance, documenting every additional task assigned, refusing unrealistic deadlines with firm, respectful explanations. Her manager, confronted with undeniable accountability, had to either support her properly or drop the unreasonable demands. The result? Her professional reputation soared. She was seen as dependable, organized, and principled, not a pushover. Because Machiavelli understood, true power lies in knowing when to act decisively and when to withdraw. Fail to be ruthlessly strategic, and you'll be exploited. Embrace it wisely, and you'll become unstoppable. At first glance, Machiavelli's teachings might sound cold, calculated, or even merciless, but in reality, they align surprisingly well with modern psychology if you know where to look. Consider emotional intelligence, EI, now regarded as a critical predictor of career success. EI is about understanding your own emotions, reading others' feelings, and managing interpersonal dynamics. What Machiavelli teaches is nothing more than an ancient form of emotional intelligence, amplified by strategy. Think about cognitive biases, those mental shortcuts we all fall prey to. Machiavelli recognized how people overestimate their own rationality, underestimate others' self-interest, and cling to idealism in a world driven by pragmatism. When you combine Machiavellian strategy with psychological insight, something powerful happens. You don't just react to office politics, you anticipate it. For example, you understand the confirmation bias at play when a manager selectively highlights your mistakes. You know the reciprocity principle explains why giving small favors builds quiet obligation. You see that the halo effect explains why someone's confident presentation can mask a weak proposal. And here's the deeper truth. Machiavellianism is not about being evil. It's about survival, clarity, and strategic thinking in environments where idealism is a liability. By understanding the psychology of influence, power, and manipulation, you transcend the false choice of being a doormat or a tyrant. Instead, you become a master of situational power. Because in the modern workplace, the most successful people don't just have skills or talent. They understand the invisible psychological architecture that governs success. Fail to grasp this, and you're at the mercy of others' strategies. Master it, and you become the architect of your own professional destiny. Here's a question you must confront. Does mastering Machiavellian strategy mean abandoning your ethics? The answer is a decisive no. Machiavelli never advocated for senseless cruelty or dishonesty. His philosophy isn't about being manipulative for manipulation's sake. It's about strategic awareness and clear-eyed decision-making. Let's be clear, there's a vast difference between ethical strategy and toxic manipulation. Ethical strategy means communicating transparently, setting firm boundaries, acting with integrity while being strategically smart. Manipulation means spreading lies, sabotaging others, backstabbing to advance at any cost. Here's a powerful example. Lena, a mid-level product manager, was repeatedly asked to take responsibility for vague, poorly defined projects without support. Many of her colleagues said nothing, fearing confrontation. Some even encouraged her to play nice and go with the flow. But Lena chose a different path. Instead of silently accepting exploitation or resorting to manipulation, she started clearly documenting all project requirements, responsibilities, and deadlines in shared platforms. Every request from superiors was acknowledged in writing. When a project failed due to unrealistic demands, Her transparent record shielded her from blame and highlighted the management's failures. Her ethical, strategic approach didn't make her weak. It made her respected. Machiavellian strategy is about truth in action. It's not a license for unethical behavior. It's a toolkit for navigating power without losing your moral compass. Because the real power lies not in bending others, but in standing firm while playing the game intelligently. Now that you've seen how Machiavellian strategy applies to the modern office, it's time to distill everything into 5 clear, actionable tips you can apply immediately. 1. Manage your perception. Don't wait for others to notice your work. Be deliberate about how you present your contributions. Speak clearly, highlight successes in writing, and dress the part of someone who belongs at the top. 2. Read hidden motives. Assume everyone acts in self-interest, not malice. In meetings and emails, ask yourself, what's their real goal? Am I being used as a pawn or a partner? Document interactions where necessary and proceed with caution. 3. Master timing. Avoid impulsive moves. Prepare your ideas in advance. Wait for moments of opportunity, such as company reviews or critical project milestones, when your input carries more weight. 4. Build strategic alliances. Focus on forming mutually beneficial relationships, not friendships. Help others succeed while ensuring your own contributions are visible. Keep alliances diverse and never fully dependent on one individual. 5. Know when to be ruthless. Learn to say no when demands are unreasonable. Set boundaries early and stand by them. Recognize when a project drains you more than it advances your goals and have the clarity to walk away. Applying just one of these strategies today could change the trajectory of your career. Each tip is a small shift in perspective that compounds over time, transforming you from a passive employee into a strategic player in the invisible game of office power. Because in the world of office politics, success isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter, and now you know exactly how. You don't have to be ruthless. You don't have to manipulate, deceive, or exploit others to succeed, but you must be aware. Awareness of how power truly works is your most valuable asset. Every interaction you've had, every project you've delivered, every meeting you've attended has been part of an unspoken game, a web of influence, motives, and strategy. Ignoring this doesn't make you noble, it keeps you powerless. By applying Machiavellian principles, managing your perception, reading motives, mastering timing, building strategic alliances, and knowing when to stand your ground, you no longer drift aimlessly. You don't just survive office politics, you thrive in it. Imagine walking into your next meeting not with anxiety, but with quiet confidence. Imagine making decisions not based on fear, but on clarity. Imagine taking control of your career, not waiting for validation, but commanding it. Because power doesn't fall into your lap. It's something you claim, strategically, ethically, intelligently. If you want more deep strategies that go beyond cliché advice and reveal the hidden architecture of workplace success, subscribe now. This is your opportunity to stop being a passive player and start mastering the game.